You know, for a long time, I didn't really understand exactly what the visual circle church and the whole visual circle concept represented. I always labeled us as being, I labeled us as being extreme freedomists, realistic anarchists. Now I realize what we really are. We are something called Individualist anarchists, which basically is a political theology which states the belief that a person's own individual interests should be of their highest concern. And obviously, everyone's individual interests are of highest concern, so, what the fuck is the point in building a whole organization around a concept that everyone follows anyway? But, I guess, well, that's the way it would seem initially, but that's not the way it is. There are people who are out there literally giving, 10%, 20%, 30% of their income to churches, to groups, to cults, to whatever, because they feel that if they're not a part of a group, then they're nothing. And I've realized that now, and that's what we are. More people than you would think don't want to be individual. They want to be part of something happening. They want to be something bigger than themselves, so to say. Maybe it's a psychological thing. Maybe they feel low in themselves and feel that they're just not cutting it, and they have to be a part of something bigger in order to be worthful. Who the fuck knows? But at least now I know exactly what we are. We are individualist anarchists, individual anarchists. There are different types of anarchism. Most of the time when people think of anarchism, they think of people that make bombs and blow up political buildings and go around doing shit like Timothy McVeigh or, what have you, the Turner Diaries, William Pierce, things of that nature. They think of people who want to completely obliterate the government and just, live a completely governmentless existence, which any rational thinking human being is going to realize that is not going to work. In any society, there has to be some sort of policing force. Otherwise, you're going to have some really sick people with some really sick concepts that are going to be free to engage in these concepts. If total and complete anarchism were in full swing, then serial killers would be free to fulfill their sick desires. Rapists would be free to do as they please. Child molesters would be free to do as they please. If you were living in a house next to the river and some guy suddenly got an urge to break your door down and shoot you in the face, he would have full right to do that. So, all you anarchists out there who are just plain straight up anarchists with no real political theology behind it, there's your fucking anarchism right there. Be prepared to be shot in the face by some fucking maniac. And the thing is that a lot of anarchists don't realize that would be the case. They think that everyone would live in complete and total harmony without governmental control. I feel that the government's control should be as little as possible, of course. I am an anarchist, and we are anarchists, but we're realistic anarchists. We believe that the government should be there to do nothing more than to oversee the functionality of a country. The rights of citizens should not be determined by that government. Rights are given at birth. No human being has the right to give another human being a right. It makes no sense, does it? What miraculous godly force gave that human being the right to give another human being a right. No force did. And that's what people don't seem to realize. They want to bow down to other factors. They want to give in to other factors. They want to put themselves in the submissive state. It's almost as if everyone is masochistic in some way. It's almost like sex, if you think about it. You know, most people like to be dominated sexually. It's the same is true in every other aspect of life. They want to be dominated. Why do you think there's so many people out there with spouses that treat them like shit? Because people want to be dominated. Because they are too scared to stand up and take control of their own life and their own destiny. They're afraid to be a leader. They're afraid of their own judgment. How often have you been in a situation where you had an opinion, someone else had an opinion, and you were too scared to trust your own opinion, so you trusted theirs? It's like cheating on a test, where you think you got the right answer, and you look over somebody's shoulder, they got a different answer, and you think, well, they got to know more than I do. So you take their answer, and when you get your fucking test back, you fail it, because they had the wrong answer all along. If you just hadn't cheated on them, and believed in yourself and your own answer, you never would have failed the test. The same is true of life. If you can't trust your own self and your own beliefs, then you really aren't going to go that far. So at least now I know what we are and what concept we're protecting, and that is the concept of basic individualism and basic individualist anarchism, which is the concept that a person should trust and focus on themselves first and foremost. Don't worry about other people's problems. And you'd be amazed at how many people do not do that. Why do you think there's so much gossip? Why do you think there's so much bullshit going around? Because people don't want to focus on themselves. They want to get in other people's lives. They want to bring everyone else down to their level of misery, whatever level that may be. And that really is the source of all problems, if you think about it. Well, not all problems, but a lot of them. A lot of them. So, at least now I know what we are. And at least now I know what we represent.